What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to the lab, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 features that are exclusive to Bedrock Edition that Java Edition could actually benefit from if ported over. Now, I think it goes without saying that both versions of Minecraft actually have features that the other one doesn't have, and a lot of people like to say that one version is better than the other, and I honestly disagree with that because different people play different versions for completely different reasons. However, the Minecraft team has been trying their absolute best to move features from one version of the game to the other, basically called parity, and these are features that I feel that Java is kind of lacking and is obviously exclusive to Bedrock Edition, and I think Java could definitely use some of these features. And before I go ahead and get started, if you guys happen to be new to the channel and you enjoy what you see, make sure that like and the subscribe button. I'm sure you guys might like to see future videos like this, potentially. I'm not 100% sure, that's completely up to you. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And this first one, technically speaking, there's a lot of redstone mechanics that are exclusive to Bedrock Edition that are not in Java, and obviously vice versa as well. But this is one in particular that I know Java players are, in a sense, kind of jealous that we have access to, and that's the fact that we can move chests with pistons. Now, it's not just simply chests. I'm well aware that you can move like dispensers, you can move hoppers, maybe you want to go ahead and move around like a furnace array so that you can have pretty much like a swappable super smelter, so you can switch between a regular furnace, a blast furnace, and a smoker. Completely up to you. I don't know if that's actually technically possible, I should say, but there's an idea for you. But yeah, this is actually a feature that I know a lot of Java players have been wanting from Bedrock for quite some time, and this is actually a pretty useful feature depending on what you're doing. I have used this in some of my builds before, so it's not really a bad feature to have. I mean, I know Java actually wants this, I did say that. But yeah, that's the first thing I want to go ahead and mention. So next up actually has to deal with tipped arrows, and I know on Bedrock Edition that it's a lot easier than Java Edition. That's obviously why I'm showing off. If you're on Java Edition, how you make tipped arrows is that you need to go to the end, fight the Ender Dragon, get yourself a bunch of Dragon's Breath, which is taking an empty glass bottle, and when it spews its breath, pick it up with that bottle, and then from there, take it home, make a lingering potion with it, surround it in the crafting table with 8 arrows. Very, very complicated process. Bedrock Edition has it extremely simple in that regard. So I have these 3 instant damage 2 potions. I can go and fill the cauldron all the way up, and I can just dip my arrows in it, and I've got myself a stack of tipped arrows. And this is actually another thing that Java is lacking, is that's the fact you can actually put more than just water inside of the actual cauldron itself, but that's not really what I'm here to show you guys. So I do have a couple other things I want to show you guys. So how many potions you actually have inside the cauldron actually determines how many tipped arrows you can actually get out of it. So you just saw with 3 potions we can get a full stack. With 2 potions you can do a total of 32, so basically half a stack. And then with just a single potion you can tip 1/4 of a stack, so basically 16. So yeah, incredibly simple, and this is something I'm sure Bedrock Edition players are very appreciative of, and Java are obviously gonna want at some point, I imagine, because just imagine, like, this is incredibly simple and a lot easier than, you know, going to the Ender Dragon fight just simply to get yourself Dragon's Breath, because once the dragon's killed, I mean, obviously you can go ahead and respawn it, but some people really don't want to have to go through that. This makes it so that you can have it pretty much at any given point in time. Next up, we have skin resolution. This may seem like a very minor thing, but I want to bring it up anyway. So basically, on Java Edition, the highest resolution that you can have for your skin is 64 by 64. Technically speaking, when it first started out, it was 64 by 32. So basically, you could do your head, a hat, your body, 1 arm, and 1 leg, and that was it. with this 64 by 64, you can have two entirely different arms and legs, and you can also put an outer layer on more than just your head. But with Bedrock Edition, you can go ahead and do 128 by 128, which is the exact same as the 64 by 64, but with higher resolution. So I do want to show off a brief example. So my lab coat skin actually does make use of this feature. You may not be able to tell it right away, but as soon as I go into the character creator, I do actually have a lower resolution version of my lab coat, and this is what it looks like. This is what you would normally see if you happen to be using the standard resolution that Java actually currently has. Whereas if I just do this, yeah, a little bit extra detail, not super easy to see on my lab coat, but hopefully you guys get the point that I'm trying to get across. Next up, and I was actually surprised that this was exclusive to Bedrock. I thought this might have been on Java, but apparently that's not the case. And that's these blocks right here. These are called light blocks. I do have them renamed from an anvil because how you actually get them is via commands. You cannot get them any other way, which does make sense. And all these actually have a completely different light level to them. That's because when you place them down, it acts as both an air block and a light source block at the exact same time, which is actually pretty useful in a number of different cases, especially for map makers who want to maybe light up a room entirely and make it completely bright without the need for a ton of torches, lanterns, hidden light sources, that sort of thing. And this is a good way to go ahead and go about doing that. Maybe, for example, you're making a horror map and you want to have a very dimly lit room instead of hiding like maybe redstone torches because those give off a very small amount of light. You can just use light blocks and dimly lit the room with a bunch of these without too much of an issue. And you can use not only give, but you can also use set, block, and fill commands in order to put these down. And this is actually the information that you'll need to know in order to get these. So you're going to need to put down light underscore block, and depending on what command you're going to be using, there's going to be different parameters, so that's fairly obvious. But when you get to the data value section, what data value you actually put in is actually the light level that you will be getting. So if you put in a data value of 0, you will be getting a light level of 0 from your light block. You get put in a data level of 15, that gives a full light level of 15. Anywhere in between, obviously, you get the point. Whatever number you put in is what data value you actually get out of it. That came out wrong, but you guys get what I mean. What light level you get out of it. That is what I was trying to say. So last up, I actually do want to go into the obsidian chamber for this because I have the most room in there in order to show this off. So this actually has to do with basically building bridges. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this mechanic, especially in the nether and potentially inside the end, depending on what you're doing. So if you happen to be on Java Edition, the way you go about building your bridges is that you have to go ahead and basically go to the edge of the block and place your block down on the edge of the previous block, which is pretty tedious. I have heard that there are methods to make this go a lot faster, like maybe 45-degree angle, something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but you guys obviously know what I'm talking about. Whereas on Bedrock Edition, you can just simply look down. Simple as that. No need to actually turn around. And I imagine the reason for this is because a lot of people, well, actually I shouldn't necessarily say a lot of people, but originally Bedrock Edition was known as Pocket Edition, and technically speaking, it's still available on phones, which is where it was available originally, which is why it was called Pocket Edition in the beginning. But I imagine this is probably why, because it might be a little bit tedious for people on touch controls to actually be able to turn around to be able to place blocks down like this. That's what my guess is. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, you can just go ahead and do this. Now, one downside to this is that you have to make sure you're not looking at another block within reach in order to go ahead and do it. Like, I may accidentally go ahead and place the block down, like, right down there. That is a bit annoying at the times that it does end up happening, but you guys get the point. Just simply look forward and down to place down the block that you're trying to fill in, and also it obviously doesn't help if you actually end up falling down, but you guys know exactly what I'm trying to get in this regard. But yeah, that is a pretty useful feature on Bedrock Edition, obviously, and that's literally all there is to this particular video. Hopefully, at some point in the future, Mojang will actually be able to bring these over to those of you who are on Java Edition, because I know you guys on Java Edition have actually been getting a few different features that have been ported over from our platform. One thing I know a lot of you guys are actually happy that you have now is the ability to set your spawn point with a bed during the day without actually needing to sleep, which previously, Java Edition, you couldn't do that. If you wanted to set your spawn point, you actually had to wait till nighttime. Obviously, no longer the case. I know you guys are appreciative of that. But yeah, other than that, this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end off this video. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, then make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching. And with that, I'll see you guys later.